there. Welcome to Gino's Thing of the Day. Where? Take a look at one of Gino's things. And it's a day. Hey! All you cool cats and catsuses. So happy to see you. Yes, I am. So great when you're here. Hey, I do have a thing of the day today, which is, pretty important, high on the priority list, isn't it? But before we get to that, I just want to ask y'all a question. Is there anybody out there that when you're cooking stuff in the microwave and you sit there and you watch, and it counts down and you get to 4, 3, 2, 1, and on 1 you stop it, and you go like, yes, I'm the great bomb diffuser and I just saved the world. Just me? Try it sometime, it's fun. Hey, anyway, thing of the day, this is so cool. Check it out. That's right. You see what that is? Yes. The Woodstock Pez dispenser. Sweet, right? Not just a Pez dispenser. This is a vintage 1990 Pez dispenser. They also released a Woodstock in 2000, but the ridges on that mold were very different. So yeah, 1990, 30-year-old Pez, vintage, man, classic. And not only that, Pez was a gift this last Christmas. Yes. Hey, shout out to T-Rose and Dustin, or as some people call them, Rose Dust. But yeah, sweet, right? You know what's fun to do? Well, what else is fun to do besides the microwave thing? What we used to do in the Navy when we go to sea, especially when you'd first go out and you have a lot of new people that hadn't been to sea yet. And also, like the first day out, you could go out and go out on the weather decks and walk up and down the rails, and there'd be a bunch of people up there just tossing their cookies seriously, until they got their sea legs. Sea legs, yeah. So, yeah. And we had, maybe you've heard me talk before about Fireman George. Yeah, the smells like a French whore in Toulon. That guy, yeah. Fireman George. So, anyway, I go out there one of the time when George was still new in the shop. And I go out on the weather deck, and this guy, George, is one of the guys there on the rails, losing it. And I walked up and says, Fireman George, didn't know your stomach was so weak. He says, Peggy Tater. He said, my stomach ain't weak. He said, I'm throwing up just as far as these other guys. My last tour of duty in the Navy, I was on instructor duty. Great Lakes, Illinois, and yes, I was an instructor over in the hot plant on the Fig 7 side. But anyway, man, one time when I was there, real straight line, hard nosed, tough as nails, those kind of people. Anyway, while I was on instructor duty, there would be these officers that would go around and just randomly sit in on classes and to give the instructors evaluations to see how we're doing, right? The chief warrant officer. So, old salt, and yeah, you want to talk about hard nose, by the book, straight line, tough as nails, you better get it right kind of guy. This was him. And this was the rumor anyway. And once, he sat in on a class I had. His kids were like the very basics of engineering. And he sat in for, one session until we had a break and left. And in my evaluation he had written in the, comment section, the instructor does not maintain good eye contact with class when he writes on the whiteboard. No kidding. There's some guys in the Navy, especially, the young kids. You gotta remember, some of these kids, they never been in anywhere before, or they live out in the middle of nowhere, or they're just not the biggest egg in the hot box. You know what I mean? I'm saying they're a couple toothpicks shy of a roller skate. You know? Yeah. Anyway, like this one, I was in a class and this kid threw it, and it was like at the beginning we're having them fill out paperwork, right? And there's one of these like, okay, put your initials on the top of this page. This one kid raises his hand. He says, "Excuse me, sir." He said, "What if we ain't got no initials?" Kid you not. Hey, but another fun thing for us to do was go over to the barber shop on base, and especially when it was days when they were bringing like brand new recruits through to, you know, in boot camp to get their head shaved. And there was just one barber there. He must have been a very sadistic man. It just made it fun though. He'd come and this kid sat down in his chair, right? And he gets ready and he's like sweeping up the hair a little bit, and then you know, throwing just clippers on it, and then and he gets ready to do this, you know, kid, and he says, "Son, where are you from?" This kid kind of looks up and says, "Pittsburgh." Barber says, "Pittsburgh?" He said, "No way, I'm from Pittsburgh too." And he goes, "Look, cool, you're from Pittsburgh. You want to keep your sideburns?" So this kid looks around and looks up at him, and yeah. The barber takes clippers and takes kids sideburns off first, puts them in the kid's hands, and proceeds to cut the rest of his hair. This kid just sitting there looking at his hand. Barber next gets another kid up there, and he sits him down, and you know, he says, and he's starting and got his hand on his shoulder and getting ready to clip, and says, "Where are you from, son?" Kid says, "Chicago." He says, "No kidding, I'm from Chicago too." So anyway, hey, for me, for sweet Woodstock, so cool. Saying goodbye, and saying, don't forget, you're supposed to be loving people. Okay, got that? All of them. You know the drill. Him, and this guy. So anyway, hey, stay cool, but feel free to question, comment, copy, criticize, and/or critique. Stay cool. Stay crazy. Later.